Oh, time got away from me. I mean, it was 7 minutes after one. I was planning on doing it at 1:11, which it is now. And I looked at the clock and my God, it's 7 minutes after and I wasn't ready. I was just starting to make myself lunch. And it's an hour later than what I thought it was. Anyway, I wrote the blurb and the title earlier this morning after I don't even remember which video I watched, but it just, I was irate and quite angry uh, because of injustice that I was seeing. And people send me lots of things to do with injustice in the world because justice is one of my passions to get justice for everybody, and we shouldn't have to. Anyway, let me get on with the video. The title is Land of Slaves and Home of Cowards. I know what the American national anthem really is. It's a war song and a grand deception. Someone convinced us that we were fighting for freedom. After numerous wars and conflicts in which the United States has been involved, Americans are more enslaved and more cowardly than ever. Our government is our worst enemy. It isn't even a government. It is a privately owned, for-profit, mind-controlled corporate syndicate operating an extortion racket and a human slavery gang of thugs. Oh. It is the largest organized crime operation ever devised. Many, like me, have been trying to tell you the truth, but the charade continues. Proof of the fact that many like the familiar system of slavery or are simply too spineless to do anything about it. Is it any wonder we get frustrated and cry out for global awakening? I'm not even in the same frame of mind as I was when I wrote that. So it'll be interesting to see what flows forth after this shift that I've had. I've been very busy getting things ready for my daughter and her family, who finally are moving in on Saturday. They will sleep here for the first time on Saturday night, all 5 of them. My daughter, her husband, and 3 children, ages 5 to 11. But I've watched what was happening in their situation and watching other people that I know or know about. And the government is so, I mean, why do we put up? Why do we put up with the government as our authority when they are our servants? A government position is a position of public service. That includes the military, the police, the judges, attorneys, which are officers of the court, all government officials. Everybody that works for any government agency is a public servant. That means they're supposed to be compliant with what the people want. But they've totally inverted it and turned it around. And most people go to the government for permission to do things that are already legal, like get married or die. Yeah, you even need a death certificate. Everything, a birth certificate, to be born, to get married, all issues of life, we go to the government and get the government to put their stamp of approval on it, like they're some kind of authority. Folks, wake up. That is a scam. That is a Ponzi scheme. Wake up. Everything has been privatized and corporatized. Do you not understand that that's a crime against humanity? Do you not understand that that is what enslaves all of our brothers and sisters? If we don't think we're enslaved, it's enslaving others. The government says you owe this. Corporation says you owe this. And they don't give you a choice. They tell you, you pay this or you're gonna suffer consequences. And they're things that are legal. They're things that are lawful. But they are law breakers. And this is what is so frustrating for me and for others that are trying to wake people up. It's so frustrating because to us it's so obvious. We see what's going on. But the average person looks at it and doesn't think twice about it. It's just the way it is. Well, of course the government is the authority. Aren't they our authorities? Aren't they our boss? No. No, they're not. But we've allowed them to take that role, and we've given them power and enslaved ourselves in so doing. And we're cowards. Now, we've been brainwashed. I get that. We've been programmed. I get that. But what's it going to take to wake you up? That was what I talked about at 11:11 last night. This is my video for tomorrow, for Friday. This is Thursday. The days are going all together so fast. Everything is happening so quickly in my life. But anyway, I would like to see patriotic Americans be patriotic about the Constitution. Be patriotic about natural rights. Be patriotic about principles that we think our country was founded upon. But we first have to wake up and see how far we've drifted from those ideals. To see how far we've come away from the principles that would have made us a great nation. And we were a great nation in the early years. We were the most prosperous nation on earth. And we didn't do it by borrowing money from central bankers. Do you not realize the price that we have paid by allowing the Federal Reserve and Woodrow Wilson to bring the Federal Reserve in 100 years ago? Do we not realize that we have become owned property, and that everything we think we own is not really owned at all? It's owned by the government, because that's how the system has been set up. Shouldn't that make you angry? Or don't you believe me? Don't you believe that that's really how it is? That even if you go and you buy a house, you don't sign as the purchaser of that house. And so the state considers it abandoned property, and they charge you rent, called property taxes, to live in your own home. Do you know that that's against the law? They cannot charge you tax on your own property. It's your property. But you don't know that because you never investigated, and you don't want to even believe people that tell you the truth. But that's the truth. When you buy an automobile and you register the automobile, you're giving that to the state. You don't own it anymore. That's why they have claim the right to take your car and impound it at their will. They can't do that if you owned it, because that's stealing. But you've registered it, so now you've given them the property. Just like you registered the deed to your property, and the warranty deed doesn't give you ownership. It gives the state ownership. And it doesn't even matter if you paid cash for it or paid cash for your car. Do you understand the criminality of government? It's the largest organized crime syndicate on earth. And the U.S. government, which was supposed to be the home of the brave and the land of the land of the brave and the home of the free, or whatever. I think I got it backwards. It's become the exact opposite. And people, when they go to war, they think they're serving their country. People that are in the military aren't serving their country. They're not fighting for freedom. They're fighting for corporations. The corporation's right to steal from people. And all over the world, there's a movement that started in the United States and Europe that's spreading all over, of privatizing everything, turning everything into a corporation. Do you realize that this is human slavery? Do you realize that this is an extortion racket? That they end up extorting money for things that should be free? Do you understand what's going on? Do you understand the nature of our world? Are you courageous enough to do your best to try to stop it whatever way you can, even if it's just to make people aware? I realize we still have to live in this world. Not everybody can go and find a rural place and live off the land. Not everybody's capable of doing that. I'm not capable of doing that. Those that do, God bless them. But what can we do to make everybody free? What can we do to really change the system and bring our public servants into accountability, make them accountable for their actions, and tell them, you can't steal from us. We don't owe you anything. You are not an authority. You do not have the right to demand anything from us at gunpoint. We can contract with you, but it has to be a contract where you've told us the truth, where you're not withholding information, where you're not claiming our value as your own. We need to get to that point, folks. This is what I've been talking about for such a long time. And I want to see us wake up. I want to see us get it. I want to see us stop fighting with each other and get cooperative with one another. This is so important to me. I'm sorry if you think I'm preaching the same message over and over again. I am. Because it seems to be going so slowly. So slowly. And so many people are being abused and victimized. And don't give me this stuff of there's no victims. Don't give me that. Don't justify the criminality of our government. There's no justification for it. It's a crime. It's a crime against humanity. And good people are participating in those crimes individually, those individual crimes against many individuals. And they're doing it around the world, and I think they're doing right. We need to wake up, folks. We need to understand what slavery is. Slavery is being owned by someone else. It's being possessed. I don't want to be possessed by anyone. I don't want to be owned by anyone. I don't want anyone to have control over me. I want to exercise my free will and my responsibility to do the best I can to live at peace with all of my neighbors, all of my friends, all of my other selves, because each person is my other self, another me. In Lakesh. Namaste. Yeah, it's all my kinfolk. It's all your kinfolk. We're one. Let's change the world, folks, please. Let's take the courage to stand up and tell the truth. It will cause a lot less pain. People will actually be able to be liberated and set free if enough of us stand up and tell the corporations, which they're all corporations, no more. We need to make it loud and clear and draw that line in the sand. And may God give us the grace to find the inner fortitude to do what's right and to stand in truth and stand for justice and peace. Thank you for listening. Namaste.